Hey guys, it's your favorite Unk here. Go ahead and click that subscribe button below so you don't miss a single episode of Nightcap. That button right here. Come for the sports, stay for the stories. Charles Barkley spoke about KD saying, no disrespect to Kevin. Kevin's a follower. He's not a leader. He's not a leader. He's proven that on all his stops. KD responded. Let's take a listen to what he said.
Why do you think people in the media think you're not a good leader or that you're not a leader?
I'm not as charismatic as my peers. I don't have a personality that's like fit for TV like my peers, and a lot of those stories of what we talk about don't get spoken about in the media, and that's just really what it is. It's like you got to sell what you're doing as well, and I haven't sold it enough, and I feel like I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel like I want people to call me a leader, but I also don't want people to say I'm not one either. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't see what goes on behind the scenes or what I talk about or my intentions or the relationships that I built with my teammates and support staff. But when guys like that say that, I just got to chalk it up to them just not being aware of what goes on.
Okay, Gil, I know you've been a very, very ardent supporter of Kevin Durant and his moves, going from OKC to the Golden State to Brooklyn, then requesting a trade from Brooklyn, ended up with the Phoenix Suns. So what were your thoughts on what Charles Barkley said, and then Kevin Durant's retort to what Barkley said?
I was confused, with Barkley's comments because, Barkley calling someone a follower with his background. And it's like sometimes the older generation forgets who they were when they played. So they're calling players something that they were themselves, right? Charles Barkley's resume didn't scream out leadership either, right? You had Moses Malone over there when you went to the
Sixers.
Western the East
He was with the
Conference
Sixers, Dr.
Finals.
J and Mo.
Yeah, so you wasn't leading that team, right? You wasn't leading the team. When you did lead the team, y'all lost the first round, didn't show up for 2 years. Then you wanted out of there, right? You went to the Phoenix Suns, who won 50-something games every year before you got there, right? So they already had leadership. Your first year there, you go to the finals, you win your MVP because of their record, because they were a good team. After that, what did you do when you was there? You went to the finals, then what? First round, second round, first round. Then you hopped your ass over to Houston, following Drexler, trying for the second time, because that's where he wanted to go when he wanted to leave Philly. He wanted to go to Portland, who went to the finals that year, right? So you didn't scream leadership either for you to be calling someone this. You followed. You were a follower. You never stood your ground to lead something. So to call somebody a non-leader when you're not in the locker room, see, I can say that from your resume, and you might look at me and say, that's unfair. Yeah, the same thing everybody else is saying. When we're in that locker room, you don't know who's leading what. All we see is from the court, right? On your football field, right? They can say what Elway led, but there's probably vocal leaders inside the locker room, and that's how a team is made. Right? We don't know who's leading, just because your name is on
you got the bigger name doesn't necessarily make you a leader.
Yeah. Yes. So, sometimes I get disappointed in, some of the star players when they call people prima donnas and stuff like that. It's like, you were too. You were too. Right? You were too. So I get a little frustrated when, some of the older guys do that.
But here's look, let's take what Barkley said aside. So will help me understand this. So what am I supposed to do when Kevin Durant went to Golden State and said, I'm not a leader. Let Clay, Steph, and Draymond lead. I'm here to hoop. He just said in that very soundbite, I'm not a leader, but I don't want people to say that I'm not a leader.
Okay, so it's like Jokic, right? When I remember they asked him a question, what did you tell the team, when y'all got back in the locker room? He said nothing. Right? They asked him again, what'd you say? I didn't say anything to him, right? When you're coming from one team to another, you're giving them the respect of Cade, Curry's the leader. Whoever the leaders are, they're the leaders. I'm just here as a player. I'm not coming here stepping on nobody's toes. Same thing that happened in Miami when LeBron and Bosh came. It's like Dwayne Wade is the leader. Like you're trying to delegate the responsibilities so there's no fringing, right? No matter what Kevin Durant, what he was doing on the floor, you can see that he was demanding things. That's why him and Draymond was beefing, because he is standing tall, doing what he does. But he is a quiet dude. He is a quiet dude, but I don't want to be the leader, but I don't want you to say I'm not a leader because you don't know what I'm doing. You don't know that I show up early, I leave late, right? I prep talk, I do this, I train players, I work out with players, I wake, we don't know everything he does. So he's like, well, I am a leader, but I might not be a leader, right? It's the confliction of, just the player's personality.
I look at
itself.
it like if Gilbert Arenas says, man, you know what? I'm a liar. I mean, I lie, but don't call me a liar.
Mm-hmm.
So what am I supposed to do with that? So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Gilbert Arenas tell me out of his own mouth, he's a liar.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I say, well, Gil lies, man, I just don't, I lie, Shannon. Yeah, of course, Unc, I lie. But I don't want you to say that
Mm-hmm.
I lie. And I think that's the confusing part, what people are saying, are having with Kevin Durant, because we've heard him say on
Mm-hmm.
numerous occasions that I'm not a leader. And then when people say, well, Kevin Durant's not a leader, he's a follower, he's like, yeah, I'm not a leader, but I don't want people to say that I'm not a leader. I don't believe leadership has this. Larry Bird wasn't charismatic. Larry Bird was basically the total opposite of Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Bird,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first of all, he had a little thin lips, so you couldn't tell if he was smiling or not. But Magic, you saw all 32 of Magic
Mm-hmm.
teeth. And Magic was so charming. He was so charismatic. And he, to this day, he's still the same way. He makes everybody feel that he's known him his entire life, or he's known you your entire life. That's just the way he is. But I don't believe, does it help? Yes. Mm-hmm. And because I think the thing is, had Shaq not had the personality, man, people would have been scared of Shaq. Can you imagine somebody that damn big and he got a frown on his face or he's scowling? People look at Shaq because he was so outgoing, because he was so charismatic as a giant teddy bear. Kobe could be charming, but he was deadly serious because he had Mamba, and we know what a black Mamba is. It's one of the few snakes that will bite unprovoked. Okay, Jordan had a way about him, but if Kevin Durant had never said, "I'm not a leader," that would have been for us. That would be for conjecture or speculation, innuendo, whether or not he's a leader. Because, like you said, Gil, I'm not in there. You've been in basketball locker room. The outside fan base doesn't know a whole lot about what goes on unless a player from inside the locker room says so. But once you reveal that you're not a leader, and the problem that you have is when people say that you're not a leader, after you said that, I don't really see what the qualm's about. I can't say, hey, bro, they call you boy Shay. Don't call me Shay now. But damn, you just said that's what they call you. And I think that's what's so confusing. But I don't want Kevin Durant to two things can be true. You can be a tremendous teammate. You can be a great teammate and still not be a leader. So I don't want you to think just because you're a great teammate, that automatically classifies you as being a leader. Because I believe two things can be true, Gil. You can be a leader and be a terrible ass teammate, and you could also be a great teammate and still not be a leader. But I think, look, it's just hard to say. I just think that you can't have it both ways, Kev. You can't say one thing, and then when people say what you told them that you're not, get upset when people say that. Now, I don't know why Barkley was saying that, but also I don't think, Gil, that your resume necessarily says because, okay, I'm the leader of a team, but if we don't win a championship, that means I wasn't a good leader or I wasn't the leader of the team. So I don't necessarily think just because you didn't win a championship, that doesn't make you a great leader, because I believe two things can be true. You can be a horrible leader, you could be a terrible person, maybe a terrible leader and still win, but you can also be a great leader and not win.
We have to define what leadership is, because everybody has their own definition of it, right? So that's one thing too. Barkley said, you know, I'm not a role model while being a role model.
Yes.
Right? There's a contradiction to what he's saying, because in Washington, I was given the franchise. I was the leader until Antoine Jameson came. And then I said, I'm not a leader because my age, he's the vet. That was my vet. He is the leader of this team. I'm the face of this team, right? No one was going to outwork me. No one was going to outstudy me. No one was going to do any. If I said something, that's how it went. But I'm not the leader. I'm telling you what I am and what I'm not, right? So it is a contradiction, but you still got to ask that player, when you say you're not a leader, in what aspect? So we can get some clarity on it. You know, so we can get a little bit of clarity on when you're saying you're not a leader, what part of leadership are you not delegating to yourself?
I don't think I think if you said that you weren't a leader, and then people, analysts like Barkley, and can't recall like when you played who were all the analysts, and they said Gil's not a leader. I don't think in turn you didn't get mad because you said the very thing that they're saying. They're just regurgitating what you said. Gil said he's not a leader, so I got to take him at his word that he's not the leader. That Antoine, you said Antoine was the leader because he was the veteran on the team, and you said, well, Jameson is the leader. And so maybe like he was the leader, but you were the senior official. It's like having an adjunct professor. You know what I'm saying? Okay, there are other professors that might do, but you have your word carries a little bit more weight because you had been there long. You even though he was the older player, you were the tenured player at Washington.
Yeah, I think too, when he came into Golden State, because I think those are the only words we're holding. We're holding his Golden State words, right? Where he's coming into someone's city and he's saying, hey, don't look at me. I'm just here to play the game. That's when he gave away leadership. In OKC, he was the leader, right?
So
in Brooklyn, right? So I think it was just that moment in time where he's like, this ain't my team, because, you know, when he came there, everybody questioned, whose team is this? And I think he just, as a player, we all do it. This is team. You know, when Mike Vick went to Eagles, right? And we know who Mike Vick is, he's delegating his response like, hey, I'm just here trying to fit in, y'all. Just, I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes. I did in Orlando. Hey, this is Jameer Nelson's team. This is his team. I'm here to help him out. Right, even though I have the bigger name, because I don't want him to feel some type of way like, yo, dude's coming in here thinking he about to take my spot. Like, no. I'm coming off the bench. I'm gonna be the bench player, and I'm gonna work the second unit. So you cool. So we don't need to have these conversations and have these team talks. So I think that's what he did at Golden State. So, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those conversations you got to have with him. One of them, you know, you just got to ask the right question of, you know, do you consider yourself a leader today? When did you consider yourself a leader? When did you delegate it? So he can give us the answers instead of us just poking.
Speculating, And I think that's what Charles is going. I think the thing is, like, Charles is looking at, like, Brooklyn, like things that deteriorated. But like you said, I can't make a grown man. The man don't want to take the jab. Kyrie didn't want to take the shot. What the hell y'all want me to do? Y'all want me and Harden and the team to hold him down and let the doc come give him a shot? The man said he's not taking it. We talked to him. He said, James and I think he said that they had a conversation. Kyrie's mind was made up. I'm not taking that shot. So I don't really know. There's only so much I can lead. This ain't the military. I can't give him a code red. I don't have Loudon Downing over there to give him a code red. Give Willie Santiago a code red. They can't do that. And so for me, I get what Kevin Durant said. I don't really know what else y'all want me to do. So in that situation, I totally get you can only lead, but the people that you're leading got to want to be led. And then Kyrie in that situation had made his mind up. He had done his research. And from what he had deduced, the shot wasn't for me.
Ever since the Golden State, we have questioned his resume. And it's unfair because we've never done it in the past. No other player's resume's been challenged when they move somewhere, when they ask to be traded. None of their resumes been challenged besides the last 15, 20 years. So it's easy for people to throw jabs at their career. So, some of these players right now are just walking on eggshells and they don't know what to do. So it's easy for them to just be like, I just want to play basketball. I just want to hoop. It's
Right.
easier to say that. I just want to hoop. I don't want to go back and forth and all the hoopla.
I agree. And I have a problem with that because I think the thing is that sometimes the older players forget that they ask for trades also. And they don't think like I understand that social media, there was no social media then, but some of us are old enough to remember of you requesting a trade. Some of us remember things that you did that you criticized the very players today for doing. And so that's where, look, and that's why I've never had a problem giving the younger generation. Is the game different? Yes. Rules change in football has made the game. The guys are skilled. The guys are bigger, stronger, faster, but the rules have been put in place to allow the offensive players to produce better numbers. And the defensive players can produce better numbers because there are more opportunity to sack the quarterback and to intercept the pass. And so, and that's not to say that, these guys ain't any good. They are, but we do have to take the, if they made the basket 2 inches bigger and guys all of a sudden started averaging 40 points, we can't sit here and say like, well, that had no impact on the guy averaging 40, 2 or 3 guys averaging 40 in a season. Of course it does. And so to act like that certain rules and parameters hadn't been put in place to make the game, I'm not saying that it's easier, but it probably is easier because I believe the guys in the NBA are more skilled. When you get guys that are more skilled and you put them in more space, what the hell do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. Is it, okay, just like in football, right? Is it, which one is coming first? Because I don't think we think about it, right? Even from when football started, the harder you hit, the bigger you get, the rules got to change. Like, oh, wait, these guys are getting too big, too strong. We gotta change this up a little bit, right? So it's the players that's changing up the rules, right? So it's not like, football, these guys are softer. No. Today we can't have these guys hitting this quarterback because quarterback, everybody's not built like Cam.
No.
Right? So these guys are bigger, stronger, faster. We have to protect the quarterback a little bit more now because there's too much power coming at him. So now we gotta put rules in. So the rules is really coming because of the talent is getting better. So it looks like it's softening up, but there has to be rules for it. If not, you're gonna have some. You got Matt Trucks coming.
There were too many concussions, Gil, and the league was getting sued. And they saw guys leaving the game, and we saw what was happening. Guys were taking their lives at a very young age, and so the NFL stepped in and said we got to have some rule changes. Well, you can't attack the quarterback. They're trying to take the kickoff out of the game, but they don't know how to because it's still an exciting part of the game. It's too impactful for you not to have it in the game. But if they can find a way to remove it, because you think about it, now they don't let the guys get a running start. The guys can't leave until the ball is kicked. Also, you can't put the 2-man or the 3-man wedge together. So they've done a lot of things to try to make the game safer. But also, Gil, is that because guys don't hit during the course of the week, you ask a guy to drive 20 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour during the course of the week, and then come Sunday go 100 miles an hour. Something's going to happen. There's when you go to NASCAR, when they go warm-ups, they're going 180. They don't go 25, 40, 50 miles an hour around the track, and then all of a sudden come Sunday when they get on the track, go Daytona, or they go to Lowe's Motor Speedway or something, and all of a sudden say, we're going to air it out. No, you got to put the car to the test. Well, you got to put your body to the test during the course of the week. But I understand what Katie is saying. I understand what Charles was saying, but I think Katie could have dodged a lot of this blowback, Gil, had he not said anything about leadership and just leave everybody to speculate, because like once you say what you say, you kind of take the speculation out of it.